Okay, we're good to go. Very good. Would anyone like to volunteer to facilitate? We could move through the agenda with Mike.
Kelsey.
Yeah, I can do that. Okay, so knowing that sorry, I'm on the safe spaces document. Let me go back to the agenda. So knowing that we don't have quorum, we won't be able to vote on anything like official, but we can open the meeting. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Are we doing Robert's Rules of Order? Are we doing parliamentary procedure?
I think it's okay to be informal with no quorum and everything.
Okay.
Just go ahead and casually move us through. I think that would be totally fine. I appreciate you checking. I really do. We do customarily do a relaxed Roberts, so I appreciate that.
Yes. All right. So welcome and introductions. I can go first and we'll just popcorn. I'm Kelsey. I am a member of Ward 4 and a member of the Human Rights Commission. Popcorn to Kathy.
I'm Kathy. I also a member of the Human Rights Commission as well as the task force. I live in South Salem. Gretchen?
Yes, hi everybody. My name is Gretchen and I'm on the staff team at the city and serve as a liaison to the Human Rights Commission. Thank you.
Okay, so now we'll move into public comment. Gretchen, did you receive anything?
We did not.
Okay. All right. Approval of minutes, but we can't vote. So next time. Okay, and then safe spaces implementation discussions. So Gretchen, it looks like you have some updates, but then in addition, the document that you sent out.
Yeah, thank you. So just sent out late this afternoon is a document that captures each of the pieces that we have so far. I did not include some of the supporting attachments that folks have provided us that are content specific. Like Kelsey, for example, I think you might have sent us some information about signage for restrooms that's gender inclusive, but the primary documents are all now in one piece. And so one of the things we can do tonight is talk about that. I've got notes with a few discussion questions regarding the checklist, the evaluation process, and the workflow. So if you like, we can tackle some discussion points there, as well as, Kelsey, we want to talk about the conversation that you've scheduled for tomorrow. So wherever you'd like to begin, but we do have the documents in one for you, and that can create a good place to begin, it sounds like maybe.
So Gretchen, you may have already answered one of my questions, and that's, I remember there being a couple of other things. I think Mike had prepared something about chapter 97, and there was a document with the racial profiling, but those exist, they're just not included in this document.
That's right. And I might have misunderstood. If you'd like, I can do another one that adds those pieces. So I mean, absolutely, you're right. We have both of those, as well as we have some good inclusive signage piece. So those to me start to fill in that resource directory outline.
Yeah.
You know, and we start checking off some of the pieces that we've completed for that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, I when I was reviewing it, that was kind of my question, is that I thought there was more information, but that makes sense to me the way you did it. So, and then there was just one little edit, I think, that I was looking at on, if I remember correctly, we decided that there were not going to be requirements. There was going to be a list of kind of a checklist, but some, you know, there would be a standard, but we wouldn't necessarily have what's required versus what's, maybe I'm remembering wrong.
No, you remember correctly. So my furrowed brow related to, does something still say requirements?
So on the checklist, so it's on page 2 of the PDF document. There's a heading that says, will I be invited in the program no matter what? And then in the answer there, it says, no, first the commission would want to see a commitment to providing a safe space and all required items demonstrated.
Thank you.
So I just noticed that when I was reading through.
Great. Good catch. I'll edit that.
What wording are we thinking for that?
That's a good question, because one of the things that's important based on your previous discussions, is figuring out how do you be, how did Mike put it? A strengths-based approach where you're trying to lean into people learning and really striving, and they've got a number of pieces in place, but then maybe they don't have everything. But yet at the same time, be kind of clear and transparent about how you'll look at the information. I always imagine a worst case scenario where someone's not welcomed into the program and believes that's unfair and feels that negatively impacts their organization. And so how do we articulate a fair, inclusive, equitable process that still is based upon standards? And yeah, so I think that's at the heart of a challenge of it. So it's a great question. How would you phrase that?
I'm wondering if, and this is something I can ask the foundation tomorrow. I'm wondering if we can say something like, no, but the task force will continue to work with you and identify areas of growth to work towards acceptance into the program.
I like that.
I like that, yeah. Yeah, I think the first part of the sentence is true. We would want to see a commitment to providing a safe space, and some sort of, demonstration of working towards that in the various areas below or something like that. Yeah, I like that.
Great. I'm just taking notes on your phrasing.
Well, in the very next sentence says the commission recognizes it as an ongoing journey to consistently improve in these areas. But I think that gets across our intent.
Kathy, did you find any other good?
That was the only thing I noticed. I mean, I didn't spend a lot of time looking through it, but just kind of on my glancing through, that was the only thing I really noticed.
Great. On the checklist, I wondered, if my memory serves me, there's still work to do in making it with some multiple choice, and then maybe one open-ended question with the ability to upload documents. Is that still? Yeah, great.
And I'm hoping that the foundation will just send me their application so we can kind of model it.
Sounds wonderful. Yeah. I was curious on the checklist if you think we're missing items or missing categories. If it's, I remember in our initial draft, I don't think we imagined that it was complete. And so I've been trying to think of what's missing. Again, with the foundation you're meeting tomorrow, we might discover some good things. I enjoyed looking at their webpage.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'm excited about the meeting. Was there anything else for this document?
I think just if you wanted to contemplate, is there any big areas that we're missing? That might be or if you don't like some of the areas that are on there, that might be the only other thing to spend a few moments with, if you like.
There's nothing glaring to me that's missing.
This might be kind of a chapter 97 wording. So page 4, that first bullet, I'm wondering if we can add maybe like gender expression, or if that's because it's worded that way in other documents that we have to keep it.
I'm sorry, Kelsey, where are you looking? I'm not sure. I don't see
You're
the
good.
page.
Page 4, first bullet point, it says, do any non-discrimination policies include, and it lists off some identities, and then I'm wondering if we can like expand it to like gender identity and gender expression.
Well, it's a good question. I might ask you as commissioners what you think about that. I mean, when you remove the word requirement, I mean, I don't know if gender expression is expressly in a law anywhere, but maybe that's not the standard. Maybe the standard is just what's recommended to be inclusive, which would drive in more words like the word gender expression. So I guess I would offer that for your thoughts and consideration.
That's a good point. If we're not, like you said, if they're not requirements, I mean, we do want them to comply with Chapter 97, but we can be broader than that. Yeah, it seems appropriate to me to expand the wording there and not be limited to what's in the code.
I'm also for that.
Yeah. So is there anything else missing from that list with that in mind?
Good question. And Kelsey, I'll make a note to add gender expression.
Thank you. We could add ethnicity. There's national origin, but sometimes they overlap, sometimes they don't. So if we want to throw in ethnicity in there.
Sure.
Oh, and then one last one that I can think of is language.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Great. To your question earlier, Kelsey, about questions for the foundation, maybe that's part of it. I know there's focus around LGBTQIA+, but maybe there's, kind of what's included in your checklist. Can I see your checklist is probably a good beginning question, I would imagine.
Will do.
Yeah, specific to this document, I think it's looking good. I think we've got a good collection of information. It'll be neat to see it all when we have all the different pieces filled in.
Yeah, I agree. I think it looks super. Like, Gretchen, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Kathy, did you have something?
No, I'm just kind of scrolling through one last time to see if anything jumps out to me, and it really doesn't. So
Okay. Okay.
It was easier than I thought it would be. I'm like, okay, that's encouraging. And I know we'll think of things. It'll probably be an ongoing, very breathing document,
I think that's true. I think as we continue on and as we have more discussions and learn more things, there'll be things to add to it. Definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome. So it looks like we are finished with the safe spaces implementation discussion.
I did want to ask, I don't know if you want to talk about it tonight, but if you want to talk about workflow, so I guess I'm imagining a certain workflow and was wondering if this is how you all imagine it or if you'd like to see it different. And this again would be a good question for the foundation. Like, how does this work? So you have a checklist, you have a document, you have information on the web and you communicate about that to the community. So people, we spend time doing outreach and letting people know. And then you imagine we'll receive applications. One assumption I thought is maybe the applications would come in on an ongoing basis. No wrong door for when people could submit the information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're both nodding. So, okay. And then I wondered, when we receive it, would you want it to be sent to all task force members Would you want to appoint a couple of people or rotate that? Maybe each quarter there's a different team of 3, for example, that's on deck to review applications. There was an earlier question about, would site visits constitute a public meeting? And I verified, no, they wouldn't. But that's another thing. When we get the application, would we want to largely do the review just online? Would we want to trigger a site visit randomly, or trigger a site visit if the team has questions? Would we try to start by always doing a site visit and then see if we get in over our skis, or if that's doable? So I guess I was curious about, so we get an application, it sounds like we'll receive them anytime. So there's just a few workflow questions, like to whom should that go to? Do we want to create any timelines by which, like, we commit to review it within 30 days or things like that? So I'll just throw that out and see if you'd like to talk about it, or if you want to wait or think about it, but just a few thoughts there.
I'm really curious what the volume of applications that we're going to get is going to be. I mean, it's hard. Ideally, I would think we would want to at least lay eyes on the site at some point, but if that's a huge workload issue and resource issue, then that may not be practical. But I don't know. I guess I'm kind of envisioning an initial review on paper or electronically, however it's submitted, and kind of evaluation that way. And then I don't know what's next. I think it would be helpful to have, and with such a small task force, I don't know how possible it is, but to have at least 2 or 3 different individual members reviewing it, because we're all coming from different perspectives, right? I'm going to look at something and have no issue with it, but somebody else is going to look at it and identify something that I just don't see. And so having those different perspectives, reviewing it and doing that evaluation.
Agreed.
And those are some questions that I can ask the foundation tomorrow. Because yeah, I agree with Kathy. I think having multiple eyes on it is really good. Kind of what that process is going to look like. Does everyone review it? I like the idea for the timeline, like that it will be reviewed at the next task force meeting. That might be good, or within like 2 months of submission.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 30 days. I mean, with such a small group, and it seems like sometimes we have, things come up and we have difficulty getting a quorum at times. I think 30 days might not be enough time unless we're going to have some different commitments just as a group of being available. But 60 days, I wouldn't want to go beyond 60 days because it sounds like it's pushing it too far, but I would hope that we'd be able to get through it in that time.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with 60 days. I know it's because we only meet once a month. It's 30 or 60, in between.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 90 is too long. I don't know. Do you agree with that? No.
I also agree with your points about it would be nice to lay eyes on the location. I'd hate to see something move through on paper and we didn't, and we just missed some really basic things. Like when you walk and experience the location spatially, something might jump right out at you that isn't coming through on the paper application. So it seems smart to at least begin there. And then if we have to make a change in the program due to capacity, that seems reasonable to say, hey, we're changing this and here's how we're going to do it. But to maybe begin with that could be smart. If the commission members are open to it, I could certainly go, along with commissioners and visit locations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't think people are going to necessarily be dishonest on the application, but I think you're right. There might be things that are obvious once you see it, but that we would never have reason to know about otherwise. Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds super.
And yeah, Kelsey, thanks. I can't think of anything else on that unless, do you have enough questions for the foundation or do you want to brainstorm anymore?
I have 3 sticky notes of questions, so I feel like that's a good place to start. Do you all, can you think of something that like you just want to know about their process or kind of that whole thing?
Can you tell me again what it is and more about them? I know you said already, but
you're good. So it's the Out Foundation. They're an LGBTQIA plus organization, and specifically they have an inclusive gym finder. So it's for like CrossFit gyms mostly. So gyms can self-report being an inclusive gym, and they go through this application process, upload some documents, and then on their website, on the Out Foundation's website, people can search for an inclusive gym. So like when they travel or if they're thinking about joining a gym, it just pulls up there and it gets the Out Foundation stamp of approval.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very similar to what we want to do, but with gyms.
Yeah. Oh no, I think that would be helpful to get any insight that they have. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
I thought it was terrific. So the question I guess I would have for them is if they've ever had to turn someone down, and how has that been experienced? Did it become litigious? Did it become complicated? Was it, did they turn them down for understandable reasons? I'd be curious if they've had any experience with that. If a gym has asserted that they're inclusive and they said, yeah, no, we're not going to add you, and how that's gone.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. I think they have a lot more leniency because they're a nonprofit and we're a governmental entity. So, but yeah, like just knowing like wording and like what we were saying, like what made them like, nope, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And do they continue to work with them like we want to do?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm meeting with them tomorrow morning. So I think 9. So if y'all think of a question, if you want to email Gretchen, you can email me.
Okay.
That would be great.
Okay. I suspect that as you talk, more questions may come to mind too, or they just may have information they share that you hadn't thought about either.
Yeah, I'll definitely be taking copious notes.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for the safe spaces discussions? Okay. So next we have moving our next meeting to August 3rd, question mark.
It does work for me. We've already had that conversation with the awareness campaign task force meeting. I guess it depends on, and if I remember correctly, Carico was available on the 3rd. I think we decided.
They were, yeah.
I will be out of state on vacation, so I will not be able to join, but obviously I'm just one person.
Thank you. I'll check with, I think I need to hear from Amelia and Mike. And then I guess, so stay tuned then, and we'll see about next meeting. I'll communicate.
Sounds good. Member remarks and announcements.
Nothing from me.
Same. Gretchen, you have anything?
No, not that I can think of.
Thank you for facilitating, Kelsey. I appreciate it.
Of course, brings me back to my supervising days. Wow. Okay, yeah, anything else? else before we wrap up a short meeting?
Yeah. I don't think so. Not that I've got. We'll see you both, I hope, next week for the Human Rights Commission.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll be there.
Great. All right. Well, have a
All
good
right.
evening, y'all.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.